So I was at the bank earlier this week, right, guys? Just doing bank stuff, and this old man, I guess he'd forgotten his glasses. He asked me to check his balance on his little sheet of paper. So, being the kind man I am, I walked over to him and I pushed him over.
Okay. Lego Harry Potter is 100%, without a doubt, the best way to consume Harry Potter, period. Don't at me.
I used to be an adventurer like you, then I took an arrow in the knee.
Welcome to the Council of Nerds.
The Council of Nerds.
Welcome to the Council of Nerds. This week it's Nerdy News. I'm Dan. I'm joined by my co-hosts.
Hi.
There they are. Yay.
Jake was so mean.
Oh, can't believe you pushed an old man at the bank.
Oh, that's so funny.
I didn't expect it just to end there.
I
The story just stopped so abruptly.
Oh man,
Golly.
that's funny. Oh yeah, but like Dan
Thank you
said,
for that.
we are talking nerdy
Thank
news
you.
today,
Thank you.
which is super exciting because there is tons and tons of nerdy news coming our way. Like October, well, already is starting to happen, and then moving into
Yeah.
November, a crazy amount of
October.
stuff, and then I think maybe a little in December. But man, there's so much nerdy news, and we are super excited to talk about it.
It's a good time to be a nerd, folks.
I do want to start
Um,
with one really quick, just because it just came out yesterday, and that is the new Star Wars Squadrons game. Um, I wasn't crazy excited about this game. I've come to like be somewhat excited for it. I still haven't purchased it though, but mainly because I'm waiting for some really good, honest reviews on it, so that I can be sure it's worth my money and time. And just really quick for some reviews on that I have seen. Um, People are giving it a good number. They're giving it like out of 10. Most people are giving it around 8. Around an 8 out of 10 for this game, not for the campaign. They say if you're buying it for the campaign, sucks to be you because it's not that great of a campaign. It's more of like a campaign that is made to like help you learn how to play the game, which is
mm,
cool. But the best thing about it is the multiplayer, which are 5v5 space battles. Um,
sure.
it is all first person. There's no third person. Um, and it is a very, very steep learning curve from what I've heard. It is a very
Hmm.
difficult game to play. And from what I've seen, like video wise, it looks difficult. And a lot of it goes into like the
Mm.
upgrades for your ship, how good you can make your ship, and stuff like that. That would change how good you are, how I don't know, how much fun you're having really. But it looks fun. I might get it. I'm still waiting on a few reviews. So I just wanted to start with that because it was quick. But
Oh yeah, that game looks super entertaining. I watched some guy play it on with VR on
mm,
YouTube, and I got nauseous just watching him do it. So
yeah,
I can't imagine doing it that way. One of the things that's coming out this month that I wanted to highlight super quick. This literally, I bet no one else cares but me. But Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition comes out on October 15th. And I played that game so much when I was a
no
kid.
one
It's just
cares.
a what?
I'm just
You
kidding.
move
Keep
on.
going. I don't even know what
Um,
Age of Empire is.
it's just it's a base building strategy RTS game.
Oh, like
Uh,
Battle for
like a
Middle Earth.
It's like
StarCraft, Warcraft style game.
it's like Empire Earth, but not as cool.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Uh, but you pick it's like Civ, but a
Okay.
lot different.
Okay.
Um, it's like Civ, but not. Uh, and yeah, you pick a certain country, and then you just build a base on a map, and they're trying to win, and you
That's
go through
cool.
different ages.
PC game.
And yes,
Hmm.
but I played it a lot when I was un young boy.
A lad.
Um,
Un
a
Nino.
lot,
A wee.
a
A
lot.
weein.
Just a
But yeah,
latte.
but I would say your assumption on not a lot going on in December is pretty true.
Yeah.
Because at this point, looking at what has been announced for December, there's like nothing. So
All right. It's more
December's
of a
gonna
time
be
to
kind of
just.
sad.
It's to enjoy the time you have from all this stuff you get in November and October.
Yes. And then I know one other thing that Dan and I don't know about Dan anymore, it would be excited about. Fall Guys Season 2 comes out this month. And is going to have a medieval theme.
Ooh.
And it's going to use more mechanics. So for those of you who haven't played it, it's just basically obstacle course, survive the round kind of thing. But they're going to use more. Go ahead.
I've heard that a good way to describe that game. I haven't played it, but it's Fall Guys, right?
Yes.
Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. I'm thinking of a different game. What game am I thinking of? That new one that everyone's playing.
It's
Fall
pretty
Guys.
much like a Mario Party, but without the board game. It's
Yeah,
just
see,
all mini games.
Yes.
I'm thinking of gosh, what's that new game everyone's playing? That weird looking game. It's like Mafia, basically.
Among Us.
Among Us. That's what
You're
I'm
thinking
thinking
of.
of.
Oh,
Yeah.
Among Us is
They
great
look
too.
really similar. Yeah.
But they're going to be using more of the mechanics of moving objects around to get over obstacles. So you'll have to push block boxes around
no.
and stuff, which have not been used
Oh.
before.
That's gonna be
So
horrible.
it's going to be a nightmare. I've only won that
Yeah.
game one time, and I don't think it'll ever happen again. But I won once. My mom can be proud of me. Yeah,
go
it'll-
Brian.
It'll reset the season stats and all of that.
So
It's
basically,
gonna
you're
be
back down to
what
nothing.
I think. It's gonna be. I think a. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to say that. It's gonna be messed up because like the seesaw level. That's the only one where you like interact with the level to get through it, and that one's horrible.
that's my best map.
wow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? That's the actually. Nah, that one's fun, but it sucks.
He just went like full on hating it to like actually yeah, I really like that one
No,
too. It's great.
I still hate it, but it's fun. But it's
Oh,
also rage. I don't know. It's mixed emotions. Anyway, yeah.
Do we want to
Fall
stay
Guys
on the
Season 2.
video game track and talk about some other ones that'll be releasing soon before we move on to
I think
Big Chungus?
I mean, we
Yeah,
really-
I got
hold on,
some
hold on.
video game news.
hold on, but isn't there only like one bit of really nerdy news that isn't video games that we have?
Oh, yeah, I guess
So we
so.
might as well
I
just
have-
do
I have-
that really quick.
Okay. I have two things that aren't video games. One, that this again, probably I'm the only one who cares about it. The James Bond movie got pushed back to 2021.
No,
so it got pushed back
I
to this
super
year.
care about that actually.
Yeah,
Wait, are
it
you
got
serious?
pushed back again. Yeah, so it's not releasing
Oh.
until here. Let me get the date they pushed it back to. I just saw that recently. I think they announced that not too long ago.
That actually makes me really sad because I was very excited. I love James Bond, especially Daniel Craig James Bonds. I love them. And they always come out around the same time as my birthday, and so that's
Ooh,
actually
when's your
a bummer.
birthday?
November 17th.
Yeah, no, it's not even close. It's being pushed back to April 2nd of
Yeah.
2021.
See, it was November
So,
of it was November like what, 10th of this year?
yes, the movie was set to premiere on November 12th in the UK and November 20th in the US.
Sad Logan.
That's a hefty
Um,
pushback. That's like
that is.
6 months. Good
Yeah.
grief.
Also, I'll be 100% honest. I thought Logan was being really sarcastic.
I wasn't. I love James Bond movies.
I thought it was pure sarcasm. And then he's like, "No, I always watch it."
Oh, no, I love James Bond.
The only other thing is Mando season 2 comes out at the
I
end
do
of
have
this month.
so I have some other Star Wars ones really quick as well to go along with Mando
Okay.
2, which we kind of talked about last week already.
Right.
Super excited. I actually started watching season 1 again just because
Me
it's good,
too.
and I love it. And man, that show is just great. And I'm super excited for it to come out. It comes out the 30th, right? The 30th of October.
Yes.
The
Some
30th.
other Star Wars news for people who love Star Wars is the Star Wars The High Republic line is set to start releasing on January 5th of next year. Which is
What is this?
The High Republic is like a big project Star Wars is doing. For now, it's only like books. It seems like, but they're, if I remember right, it's 200 years before Episode 1. And so they actually released a picture of like a younger Yoda, which is really cool. But it's all about like the Jedi during these peace times. So it's what we've always had in Star Wars is Jedi as like basically warriors that claim to be peacekeepers, but they're just warriors. But this is really like the Jedi as monks. So like as the like lore of Jedi has always been is like these monks, these peacekeepers. And it seems really interesting. So I'm actually really excited about that. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out. It has the potential for like movies or TV shows or something to come out with it, but for now it's just books.
I am on board.
Yes. And then also
Like that.
Lego. This is a video game. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. The entire thing is set to release in spring of 2021.
I'm buying that.
Gosh.
But there has been
Yeah,
no
me too.
confirmation on a release date, like a specific date. So it's just 2021 for now. That game's going to be expensive, guaranteed.
Yes.
And then
It might not be. They might roll that back to 40 just to be nice to those people because it is a dated
True.
Lego game
Maybe.
series. Unless they remaster all of it, then I could see them releasing it at full price.
Which
But
they might do because if you really think about it,
some
20
of those are old.
yeah, it's like couldn't they have already put that together and sold it like this Christmas already? But instead they're like
Yeah.
2021, so they might be doing that.
I had the first two Lego Star Wars on my GameCube, which was like there's the Wii, there's the
Forever
Wii U,
ago.
Yeah.
there was the Switch, right? It's like 4 console generations back
long-
for Nintendo.
That's like very
That's super
early
long.
2000s.
yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts.
That's Smash Brothers Brawl era.
Ah, such a good game.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of Smash Brothers,
Whoa,
I
whoa,
believe there's
whoa,
a little
whoa.
news on this. I know.
Whoa.
I'm bowing
Whoa.
to you.
Okay.
I believe there's some news in the Smash Brothers front.
But also, I'm not done with Star Wars. They have a lot.
Good grief.
Whoa.
Yeah. They released. This was few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so. They announced a new Star Wars animation series called The Bad Batch, based off of The Bad Batch from Clone
Ooh.
Wars Season 7,
What?
which is
I'm
so
about it.
sick. It is set to premiere sometime in late 2021 on Disney+. And
Why did they even
people
announce
are
it then?
Stoked. Because they want to get that hype level up so Brian
hype.
can dab all day.
I'm so impatient.
No details.
I need it now.
No details on release or episode count. Another thing that was announced, the Kenobi series is only going to be 1 season. Bit of a disappointment for me, but also understandable. Still, they will begin filming in 2021. No word on a release date. And then, last but not least, the untitled Cassian Andor series is set to release in 2021. The series just underwent a director change due to COVID-19 complication things. But that show does not have a lot of hype, and it should, because Cassian Andor's story will be really cool because it's about the beginning of the rebellion and all his endeavors as basically like a hitman in the rebellion. So that'll be really cool. But that is all the Star Wars news. But what Brian was saying, speaking of Super Smash Bros., I think Dan has more news on Super Smash Bros., but the one announcement I know about it is that Steve from Minecraft will be joining the Super Smash Bros. Crew, and you can use him. So, yeah.
Do you think he'll have a move where he can like summon a creeper to blow up?
Dude, that's what's in the trailer.
That's his final smash.
Is it?
It's
I
in the
haven't
trailer.
seen it.
It's like a minecart that'll send him to like a dungeon pretty much that's just full of creepers and TNT.
Yeah. The trailer's good, man.
And
You
he's
should watch
got.
it.
You definitely should. He comes with like a few extra skins.
Yeah. The girl
You can
one, I
be the girl, a zombie, and an Enderman. I
think. Ooh,
think.
that's cool.
Uh-huh.
When does that Super
what?
Smash Bros. Come out?
Good question. Let me check. Well, it looks like oh, that's Minecraft Live. I'm not exactly sure. I've got it pulled up here, but I think that trailer just came out
Yeah, it came out like
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly when. I know Minecraft Live is today. Actually, it might have already ggone on. Yeah,
They were supposed to
October
send me an
3rd,
email.
7:30. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure when it comes out, but it's should be fun. I'm excited for it. Still, no Waluigi though. That's who
Oh,
I thought was gonna be added when my roommate came out, and they're like, "Guess who they
sad.
added?" I'm like, "Waluigi," and he's like, "No."
No.
And that's it. And he walked out.
I wonder why they don't add. Like, is Wario in it?
Yes,
I think he. I feel like he is.
I believe.
Why
I
not
bet
add
Nintendo's just
Waluigi?
waiting. He's gonna be like the last character they had.
Oh my god.
Wah. Or Shaggy. They should add Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Wait, what's Minecraft
That'd be
Live?
tight.
Did I say that weird?
I
Minecraft
don't know.
Live.
I think
Live.
Minecraft. I think it's just like one of their whatchamacallits.
No.
La 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 la. Like man, my brain not working. It's like a press conference, I think, kind of like
Oh,
an E3
right,
sort of
right.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool beans. Cool beans.
Um,
What are you laughing
one
at?
I
little
got some
bit
stuff.
of. Go ahead, Dan. I can't right now.
I got a few things from Blizzard. As we know, they're working on Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. But their big one, I'd say is World of Warcraft. They got that expansion coming out soon, but they just announced, I think today, a few hours ago, that they're pushing the expansion release date back. Which is pretty interesting because I think, Brian, you said you've played World of Warcraft a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I had an uncle that worked for Blizzard, so I actually played the alpha, and then I personally played up to when they introduced Death Knights into the game. After that, I stopped playing. My older brother, though, still plays and has played every expansion, and he talks to me about it every once in a while.
So, yeah, I don't remember if Logan had or not, but I know something with this expansion. They're introducing a lot of new mechanics as they do every expansion, and there's a few that are controversial with players that they don't really like or want, and so some people are saying that Blizzard is pushing back the release date to try to work and tweak those so that players are actually happy with, the whatchamacallits, in-game use mechanics. That's it. Golly, I'm so sorry, guys. My brain.
You just said that word.
Yeah, I know, and it left immediately. So I don't know. I started playing probably around the same time Brian started getting out of it, and then I got out of it for a while, picked it up a few months ago, and I'm getting out of it again. So not sure if I'm gonna end up playing during that or not.
That
But
seems to be the case with those kind of games. Like I think about like old school RuneScape, because that's my game. I have never played the World of Warcraft, but like you usually get into like a hardcore groove, and you play it a ton, and then you just kind of weed yourself out of it.
You burn
then-
out. Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
like, I guess that's with every game. I think that's how it works for me in Skyrim too. But like you just come back and you go on a hard grind again and so on.
Yeah, I remember it'd be a weekend, and we'd find enough computers so that me and my brothers and whoever could all start a new character and then grind to 19 and go and farm the best gear for level 19 and then just go do battlegrounds
Mhm.
and do like the PvP stuff and have like these level 19s that would just wreck house. And I very much enjoyed my time doing that.
The only thing
was
I know
fun.
about World of Warcraft is Leroy Jenkins. That was World of Warcraft, right?
Leroy Jenkins. Yeah.
That was a long
There's a couple
time
different
ago.
iterations of that.
Don't sting it, Leroy.
My favorite is when the original is there's a bunch of Alliance guys and they're going to attack the major city of the orcs and they're all trying to organize, and then one dwarf guy just yells Leroy Jenkins.
Thumbs up,
and
Leroy Jenkins.
and they all get killed because they're not organized. My favorite version of that was at the time where it was like the biggest raid boss, and I couldn't remember who it was at the time, but it was like a 50-man raid or whatever the max number was back then. And the guy who was in charge of the party they didn't want to do roll loot because they didn't want it to go to random people. They wanted the loot that dropped to go to specific people. And this guy yelled Leroy Jenkins and took every piece of loot and then just left.
That is so messed up.
And I was like, that's the
Horrible.
most disrespectful thing you can do as a gamer, like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. And not to let it go by, I'm very excited about Diablo 4. So Blizzard, do
Me
your
too.
duty. Take your time. If you need to delay things, do it. I would, with all these things getting delayed, I would rather these companies take the time to make sure these games are done correctly within a longer time frame than to rush a product and we get like Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic Boom, which was a nightmare of a game.
And in their defense with delaying things, like people are having to work a lot differently now, especially if most of these people are working from home. And so them delaying things is just making extra sure that it is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Cyberpunk got delayed again, if I'm
Again, yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that I think they've spent over $121 million developing that game,
I bet it's going to be a letdown.
I'm not
which
surprised.
is more than I make in a year by a substantial amount.
Right now, they're pretty firm on this one. It's November 19th. As for what I've
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I don't actually care about that game. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about it at all, actually.
Part of me wishes
I like CD Projekt Red, but I'm gonna definitely wait and see some gameplay and some people actually playing it before I commit to wanting to get that game.
Yeah. All right, what else we got? There's still a lot.
Okay. Something at the PlayStation showcase. They had a really short teaser for God of War 2. And it's called God of War Ragnarok. Excuse me, that was a burp. Came out of nowhere. It's called God of War Ragnarok. So the implications of that are pretty substantial. Could be really interesting, especially with the not spoiler I'm not going to say about certain characters and who they really are. It could get into some really interesting stuff with what ends up happening to Kratos and Atreus in the long run. Also, at the end of the first God of War, it showed after the trailer or after the credits, it did show a small glimpse of Thor. So I would assume that Thor would be a major part of this second game. And then a third game they've already said they're going to do, I would assume is going to end with Odin as the main bad guy. I don't know. That's speculation.
I have never played the God of War games, but with my knowledge of Norse mythology and Ragnarok, it's going to be pretty chaotic. The game's going to be absolutely wild.
I'm excited about it. Because Jormungandr, the World Serpent, was a huge part of the first game already. Thor was then showed at the end of the first game. Yeah, there's a lot of implications that come into play, and it'll be interesting to see how earth-shattering they get. Because my only critique of the first God of War game was that the boss battles didn't seem quite as grandiose as the original games. But I think with the Ragnarok as their framework, they can do some crazy things, and I'd be pretty stoked to see that. The other thing on the Viking track would be Assassin's Creed Valhalla releases November 10th. Again, I've played every single Assassin's Creed game except for Assassin's Creed Unity, which I really want to go back and grab, cool actually. Yeah, it was buggy as get out at the release, and they put a lot of patches into it and have done really well with it. But it's the first Assassin's Creed game that you could play multiplayer 4-way co-op during the campaign. So if you had 3 friends online, the 4 of you could play the game. And so that concept was always really cool to me.
Yeah, you should get it because I've got it.
You've got it, and I should get it, and then we should play. And then we should
why don't you guys just game share?
It's not a thing with PlayStation.
I think it is. I thought it was.
I'm not smart enough to figure out how to.
I've tried to do it, and it's. We can have that conversation later. There's a way to do it, but it's complicated, and I've tried. People are like, no, it's not, and they've explained it to me, and I'm like, no.
Because I do it, and it's very, very nice. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I'm telling Xbox.
Oh. I only have a few more things. I'm on to my big Grandote news now. So if you guys have more little video game things,
I don't, but I did want to say one thing that I need to correct from our last episode. And I deeply apologize to everybody. My friend Connor is the one who texted me about it, and I feel very stupid about it. And by the way, Connor will be on an episode in a couple weeks with us.
Yep.
But he texted me, and when we were talking about who had the black saber last, we said that it was what's her face,
Sabine.
Sabine Wren, which is not true. It is Sabine in Rebels gave it to Bo-Katan, and the reason I overlooked that, and this might just be an excuse, but is because, well, it's not an excuse. In my brain, I had thought that Sabine offered it to Bo-Katan, but in reality, she gave it to her. I thought she offered it, and Bo was like, "No, you are the leader. You deserve it. It's yours," kind of thing. But she actually did accept it, and so I totally forgot that. So I just wanted to make that right.
Leave it to the DC Comics nerd to point out how the Star Wars nerds are wrong.
Hey, he's a big fan.
But let it be known here now, folks, we do make corrections when we are incorrect. So
Yes.
we are not afraid of it.
That's true.
But I'm
Dan,
good
do you
for
have
big
any
news.
more? Okay, Dan, you good on big news? We good?
I've got two small things, but I think you're gonna touch on one. The other thing is just some games next gen console are gonna release with the base price of $70 instead of $60. So
Boo.
that's not something I'm excited for,
don't like that.
especially for like digital only games.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're so expensive. You don't have to make a disc. You don't have to do all this like shipping and everything. They
They're
should
greedy,
be
man.
not substantially cheaper, not substantially
Cheech and Chong.
cheaper, but marginally cheaper.
I
Which is why I'm gonna get the disc PlayStation so that I can buy disc games so that game companies make less money.
That's smart. I think another reason again, I think it's stupid too, but that they're raising the prices. But it could be also, at least for Xbox, both of their consoles and PlayStation as well, they're both fairly inexpensive for what we're getting, I feel like. Like
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for that.
Yeah.
With how much hardware we're getting and everything.
And so it's like, that's super awesome that they're more affordable, and they're creating like, the discless version of the consoles are way cheaper than the ones that come with the disc drive. So like, I am thankful for that. But at the same time, games, come on, like down $70, that's so much money.
Yeah.
Especially for poor guys like us.
So for those of you who haven't heard or lived under a rock, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X will be coming out in November.
Yes.
Xbox's new consoles will be coming out November 10th, and PlayStation's will be coming out November 12th. Like Logan was saying, there's a difference in price point. So Xbox Series X, which has a disc drive.
Very confusing with the names, by the way.
Yes, Xbox needs to find a different way to go about this. That one is releasing at $499, and the Xbox Series S, not to be confused with the Xbox One S,
or the Xbox One X,
right? Which is not the same. That's releasing at $299, and that does not have a disc drive, so that is a digital only.
It also has
and then with
some other lesser things, but
yeah, the hardware is less significant in the S compared to the X. I believe the X is full 4K HDR compatible, whereas the S is not.
The S is also a smaller console in size.
Yeah, like half the size about as the X. Whereas with the PS5, the PS5 with the disc drive is being released again at $499, the same as the Xbox Series X, and the discless version is only $399. So it's a bit of a less in price disparity. There's less of a gap with PlayStation compared to Xbox, but the reason is the PlayStation consoles are literally virtually the same.
Yeah.
Like they are exactly the same minus a disc drive. Whereas with Xbox's 2 consoles, there is a large disparity in in quality of gaming experience. Where here, if you want to go all digital, go all digital. The other thing, the reason that it's also $100 more with the disc drive is that it also this is the same with both consoles. It can be a 4K Blu-ray player. So you can watch those 4K Blu-rays through either of those disc consoles, which is a nice added bonus for me. That's a big selling point when I was able to get my wife to convince my wife to let me buy a PlayStation is because we could watch movies on it. So
I do also want to say, I think with the Xbox Series S being like $100 less than the discless version for the PlayStation, that could also be, a complete marketing strategy to beat Sony in this weird competition that they've been having forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's time to stomp that feud, guys. I'm talking to Microsoft and Sony, and I know the top executives listen to this podcast. I know it. And
I know it.
It's time that you guys squash the feud and just become friends, and let's just make one almighty console called PC, and we can just buy that and everything will be on
PC.
PC2.
Yeah, PC2 Series
PC
X,
Series
S.
Xbox 5. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I have my reservations, and there's a few other. I saved one video game as a big news for me because it is big news, and then another one that I will end on is actually more to the point of Logan on what could ultimately be the end of the console wars. But for me, the biggest video game that has been announced, period, is Hogwarts Legacy.
I thought you were going to say Halo.
I am so
Infinite.
so excited
Ew,
for
man.
Hogwarts Legacy. Like, Dan, accurate. My feelings are exactly the same. I'm not going to tell you what Dan did, but I have the exact same feelings. For those of you who don't know, it was announced at, Logan nailed it. It was announced at the PlayStation. It was like, what was it called? Like the PlayStation Showcase or something like that.
Yeah.
And they showed a trailer for the game that will be released in the ambiguous year of 2021. We do not have even a season of when they're thinking that it'll be released, but
It'll be
just
late.
2021.
It'll be late.
I'm guessing it's going to be fall, right before holiday season, if they're going to try to go for those big sales, or summer. I can't see it coming out any sooner than summer. But it takes place well before the Harry Potter story.
Was it the year 1800?
It's late 1800s.
Oh, late 1800s.
So it's at this point, depending on the years they choose, Dumbledore could have just started teaching at Hogwarts, possibly.
Whoa.
So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Weird, right?
Wait, I thought Dumbledore. It was
How
late
old was he?
1800s,
He was like
right?
100
Mhm.
something, right?
So
He died at like 100 and something.
wouldn't he be just a kid in like 1800s?
Maybe you're gonna go to school with him.
Yeah, maybe I can beat him up and bully him.
Maybe you can beat up his dad.
Because
and
that
make
is
his dad kill.
While Brian's
Muggles.
looking that up, I do want to say, along with that comment of mine, the cool thing I think about this game, other than everything about it, is that you can choose like to be good or bad. Like you can choose to use your powers for good or evil, and that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to be an evil little wizard in Hogwarts, just like
You're such a Slytherin.
casting jinxes on my teachers and other students named Dumbledore. Yeah. Guardium
Dumbledore.
Leviosa.
Okay, so Dumbledore Dumbledore attended Hogwarts in 1892.
Oh.
So I will correct that. I read somewhere that it could be him starting to teach there. So
Interesting.
you could theoretically be there at the same time as him, which would be interesting.
Cool.
But you are from what we know about the game, which is not a lot, you will be going in as a fifth year. And you will be what I assume from the trailer, a transfer student.
Dude, it's
from some other
basically
magical
our nerdy
tool.
journey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Lurk,
Um,
and
yeah, and definitely gonna be naming
Wrong.
Bjorn for sure.
Bjorn, that's
Uh, and it seems really cool. There's going to be aspects to taming magical beasts. Like every class, it showed potions, charms, magical creatures. It showed Quidditch in the trailer as well, which I'm super excited about that.
open world.
Yes,
I
it is going to be an
love it.
open world experience. It not only showed Hogwarts, but it showed Hogsmeade. It didn't really show a lot of other locations,
Didn't show
but I'd be
Diagon
really
Alley?
interested. It showed Hogsmeade, I know that, but I
Oh.
don't think it showed Diagon
It
Alley.
showed like a
But I'd be
random
really
island.
interested. Yeah, it looked like almost like a Hagrid hut on an
Yeah,
island, and I'm
yeah.
like, wait.
Are we going to Iceland?
But the whole concept is you're supposed to find this power and use it to solve some mystery. I think I'm excited. They showed some dark wizards with in the trailer. He's got like a sash and he's got some fangs sitting here in it. And I have a theory that they're basilisk fangs that he like uses to assassinate
Ooh.
people, which I think is a very
Oh,
interesting concept.
That would be so cool.
that would be really
Right?
cool.
Like a hidden
That'd be-
blade, but you
Um,
stab people with
yeah.
basilisk fangs.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It showed a mountain troll. It showed moon calves. It showed hippogriffs, which is cool. Looks like you can fly around on hippogriffs as well as brooms. I'm just excited. I think that they could mess this up, but I really hope that they don't. And it has been a long time since we've had a AAA Harry Potter video game experience. Arguably, that's never happened, depending on who you ask with some of the Hogwarts or the Harry Potter games. Sorry, Logan's up in arms about something.
I completely forgot. I was gonna say this at the beginning of your talking on this game. We spoke about this game being an actual game in the very first nerdy news episode of our podcast months ago.
Did we?
True.
And we said that
I
it was
listened to it
basically
earlier.
confirmed that this game was going to come out and that it was going to be made by Avalanche, which it is. And I just want to say we talked about it, us here on the podcast. And I don't know if it was fate, but it's an actual thing. It's totally confirmed. We have a trailer and it looks amazing. And you said they could mess it up, but I don't think they will. I think it's going
Yeah.
to be great. And I kind of think that even if they did, I guess, mess it up with bunny ear quotations around that, I think it will still be good and we'll still like it. You know what I mean? Like an open world Harry Potter game where I get to be myself and I can fly on a broom and be
Yeah,
a kid.
there's really nothing that like in the trailer's short. There was also a dragon in the trailer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very important. There was nothing in the trailer that I saw and was like, oh, like that I didn't like. Everything I saw made me more like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like it was just super exciting, and the music was super cool. It was like old timey, but it was still the Harry Potter theme. So I think it'll be really interesting. I'm cautiously optimistic until I see more, I guess is where I stand right now, because there's been games where I'm like, oh, I am so excited. I am going to hit this game so hard. And it ends up just being a total wash.
Yeah.
But we've been surprised with fandom games in the recent past. I think Jedi
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order,
There you
did I get that right?
Yep.
Thank you. Was, for me, I didn't even know that game was coming out. And then it just showed up and everyone's like, this is an awesome game. And I didn't expect anything from it. And I started playing. I'm like, wow, this is super, super fun and super good and well crafted. And the only thing that I think they could have done a little bit that would have made it just a little bit better is make that character me, that I could customize the character and make it me.
I agree.
But then the voicing would have been weird and all of that. And I get why they didn't go down that path.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm also on the side of maybe save that for our own open world Star Wars game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would want.
I hope they go down that path with these new consoles.
Yeah.
There's so much more that people can do that
Yes.
you could have games like No Man's Sky that started out horrible has turned into an amazing game
So
where you can
complicated but
have
amazing.
multiple planets within a game.
Yeah.
That game, No Man's Sky, for me, it's a different kind of animation,
massive.
but has opened the door to doing a crazy big Star Wars game where you could
Mhm.
literally spend your entire game on one planet, or you could just go
Dude.
around and look at everything. Like, I think that there's a lot of potential there.
No
But
Man's
yeah,
Sky is
Hogwarts
great.
Legacy, I'm very excited. It tickles me that there's a game coming out about Harry Potter because
Avalanche.
it's awesome.
I mean, if you haven't listened to our past Nerdy News episode where we talk about this, we do talk about Avalanche, and Avalanche is a good company. They've made some good games. They made
They make the Just Cause games is what they're best
Doom.
known for.
I think they make Doom.
No, they did Rage 2.
Oh, Rage 2. That's it. That's
the new Rage game, and then Just
Yeah.
Cause. So
Yeah.
with those games, they know how to make big open worlds.
Yeah.
There's some large open worlds there. The only critique I have for both of those games, the most recent with Just Cause 4 and with Rage 2, is they don't seem very dense. Like, they don't seem very lived in.
Oh, okay.
One of those games is a post-apocalyptic style, and one of them is an island that's just getting destroyed by this guy with a tornado gun. But they've been able to show that they're really good at environmental destruction, which could be really interesting with certain magic battles and things like that within the game. And they know how to do things big scale. So I think that both of those would lend them to do really, really well with this. I think there's maybe a few other companies I would rather see behind the helm, but I'm excited to give them a chance to see where they go with it. And I like that it's a company, it's a studio that's made really 2 games that people know about, and I like that because I don't want this to be in the hands of a Bethesda or an id Software that has made a ton of games, because they might just sail on their popularity. You know what I mean? Whereas this, like the Spider-Man game that came out, was made by Insomniac, who had made 1 or 2 games before. And they're like, we need to do a good game so people know who we are. And they made an amazing game. And so that's more the venue I hope they take with this. So we'll see what ends up happening.
I mean, I think we could put our faith in Avalanche. I mean, even though they haven't made, the biggest games in the world or anything like that, I look at like Jedi Fallen Order, like you said, that was a great game. A really good game that made Star Wars games, or I guess Star Wars fans who love the Star Wars video games have hope, because their past video games have not been great since like Nintendo 64. And so, and that Jedi Fallen Order was made by Respawn. And Respawn was the company they did Apex Legends, which was a brand new game. It was a new thing for them. But they did such a good job.
They had done Titanfall before that, and if anybody
right.
played Titanfall, those games are super fun too.
Yeah.
But that's where they came from.
They're kind of overlooked companies though that I think do a really good job, and I think I really do believe that this game will be great. I really do. It'll be fun.
And then there's really only one other big. Also, just the fun fact: the reason that Avalanche has the contract is because Warner Brothers owns Avalanche.
Right.
The only other company that I could have seen doing a good job with this that Warner Brothers owns would be Rocksteady, the people behind the Batman Arkham games. But very different game style. Those are the 2 big studios under Warner Brothers. But the only other thing that I have, so if you guys have some parting shots before I get into this one, it's a bit meaty.
I do. I have one.
Go ahead.
Little kind of an exciting news, possible exciting news for me. That has to do with video games. For people who care, there's the remastered Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're super fun. I loved them growing up, and I love them. I love it now. And they have been putting on a contest for skateboard design. That they'll pick 3 winners, and if you get chosen, your board will be put in the game, like your board design. And so I submitted a design, and I'm not a winner yet. They haven't announced any winners, but I was featured on their Instagram page for my board design.
Nice.
So it was noticed. So
I
I'm
saw that.
hoping
That was
that
so
I
cool.
win. Yeah. So I'm hoping I win. It would be really cool if I do. But man, to have something I created in a video game, that's kind of a dream for a lot of people. So that'd be pretty cool.
Is there any kind of voting that people can do, or is it all just on up to the game creator?
No, so there's no voting that people can do, which I'm actually kind of thankful for because I hate begging for votes, and I also people tend to vote for like kind of dumb things, or things that just aren't. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but people vote for
I
funny,
getcha.
for
I
weird
getcha.
things or personal things, I guess. And so the voting is done by like artists and designers who work for Activision and the Tony Hawk game and stuff. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. If you want to see my design, it's on Instagram. I posted it on I have an art Instagram page at Rusty Design. I think it's Rusty dot drawings. Rusty drawings. Sorry, Rusty dot drawings. So yeah.
Give him a follow. Give him a like.
That's pretty
He
tight.
loves you. Love him back. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Thanks.
You'll have to keep us updated on how that progresses.
I will.
The last thing I have, which is a huge, earth-shattering thing for console players, is that ZeniMax, the parent company of Bethesda and id Software and a few other companies, was bought by Microsoft, i.e., Xbox.
Yes.
As a person who owns a PlayStation, makes me a little sad because of the possibilities of Microsoft having games like Fallout, the Elder Scrolls series, Doom, Dishonored, a lot of other ones being exclusive. But an angle that I thought of myself was I think Microsoft should, if they wanted to go into a good business practice with this, it's some good leverage. They should use this as a negotiating tool so that Sony, they'll trade. Sony will give up their exclusives to go to Xbox, and Xbox will allow Bethesda games to go to PlayStation. That way, all my friends who own Xboxes who've always wanted to play, like Logan said, God of War or Spider-Man or whatever, could do that. Dan, you have something to add?
So I was actually looking up some of that stuff, and Phil Spencer, who's like Xbox division head, talked a little bit about it. He says that Microsoft is going to honor the previously made PlayStation 5 exclusive timing deals for those games that are coming out. But he said that for games in the future, it'll be on a case-by-case basis for if they're going to be exclusive or not.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I think there's 2 games coming out for PlayStation. I can't remember what they're called.
Well, while you're looking that up,
Deathloop and Ghostwire
Oh.
Tokyo
yeah,
That's it.
are 2
Yeah.
coming out.
I
Yes.
did want to quickly say though, this purchase by Microsoft is insane. For people who don't know,
Yeah.
it was a $7.5 billion purchase by Microsoft, which is actually 3 times more than when Microsoft bought Mojang, which is Minecraft. When they bought all that, it was only $2.5 billion when they bought that. And what's even crazier to me is that Disney bought the entire Star Wars franchise for $4.5 billion, and they bought the Marvel franchise for $4 billion, which means together that's $8.5 billion, which is only $1 billion less that Microsoft bought Bethesda for. So $1 billion less they bought Bethesda than Disney buying both Marvel and Star Wars, which is just insane to me.
Yeah, it's crazy because they bought ZeniMax, right? So ZeniMax Media encompasses a lot of different sub studios. So the biggest one is Bethesda.
Right.
ZeniMax themselves has their own online studio. Then you have id Software, the people behind Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake. You have Arcane Studios that has Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and Prey. Machine Guns that helped with doing some of the expansions of Wolfenstein. Tango Gameworks, which did The Evil Within. Like Alpha Dog Games, which they've been phone games, so iOS and Android devices exclusively, as well as with Roundhouse Studios. So they bought
Roundhouse, yeah.
8 studios by purchasing
It's
ZeniMax
crazy.
with just an unbelievable amount of games behind all of them.
Yeah.
Like it is insane. Like in the recent years, I feel like Bethesda as well as id Software have been in the news a lot for good and bad.
Yeah.
But they've been kind of the top of the gaming news for quite a while. So for Microsoft to pull such a huge move and buy that, I think, like I was talking about before, Microsoft could now go to Sony and say, you know how you've been kind of a stickler on this cross-platform crap? You need to cut it out or your players will not play these games.
Yeah.
The other part of me thinks that Microsoft is a company that wants to make money.
They want to.
And
Mm,
so
yeah,
I feel
might
like most of these games will not be Xbox exclusive. And if they are, it will be for a period of time.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing with some of other games, like it'll be on PlayStation for the first 6 months and then it'll be available on Xbox or whatever. But I can't imagine that Microsoft will just leave money on the table like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm the same. I hope they're gonna use it for good. You know, like this ultimate, like basically the Infinity Gauntlet, but use it for good somehow. And just stop. There's just too much feud and stupid stuff between Sony and Microsoft. It's kind of annoying, especially as gamers. I feel like it's really annoying. But you never know. They are a business. They want to be the almighty of gaming, and they could definitely use it for evil. They could be a Thanos. But I think that's a pretty good place to end. We're at like 52 minutes.
Yeah, the last little tidbit I will put in terms of I don't get how there's an actual contest here because Microsoft is approximately has $243 billion in assets, whereas Sony has 11.5 billion.
Yeah.
So,
to be fair, Microsoft does like computer programs and all that other stuff.
Right. But. So, but Microsoft had the money to throw at Bethesda.
That's like pocket
purchase,
change.
Whereas Sony, Sony does not have the money to fight back and go buy a studio.
No.
So I think it's just kind of it's interesting.
Really
how it's
interesting to me because I personally, as an Xbox person, I have really felt like Sony, like PlayStation, has been dominating the game realm for quite some time. That's how I felt. I don't know if it's entirely true, but like I've just felt like with their exclusive games and stuff, people want to play those. You know, God of War, Spider-Man, all the ones you said. Like people want to play those, and so I've just always felt like Sony's dominated. But I guess Microsoft's got their hands on the wheel.
It's up to you to decide, you lovely lords and lasses. But like Logan said, I think that this is a good jumping off point.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in the world. And next month we'll bring you another iteration with any updates that we have in the coming months because there's going to be more. More and more and more is going to spill out. Leaks are going to happen. We might stay away from too much speculation, but we'll bring you what we got.
Yep. Also.
But yeah, it's a good time to be a nerd. So
yeah, great time to be a nerd. It is spooky season, ladies and gentlemen. So this month we are going to try and keep things somewhat on the Halloweenish spooky realm of things. Nerdy things, of course. Yes. And next week we are going to talk about something people tend to forget all the time, which is the Mummy franchise with what's that guy's name?
Brandon Fraser.
Brandon Fraser. And that's going to be fun.
Super good series.
It is.
Except for the third one.
Yeah.
I'm watching those this week.
Yes. And so we're going to talk about that. We have a plan. Like I said earlier, my friend Connor is going to be back on. He's a DC nerd, so you best expect we going to be talking about something DC related. And then, we got plans for this month. It's fun. We love Halloween. But again, check us out. We're thankful for you guys for listening to us. Share us with your friends. We're on Instagram. We have a Discord. If you want to join that, join the Discord. We talk nerdy things on there every once in a while. We would like to talk about it more. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, all the podcast places. Check us out. We love you guys. We're having fun. And stay nerdy, my friends. Bye.
Stay beautiful.
Bye.
What?
The Council of Nerds.